Today's February 1st, 2020, and earlier today, The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon released a video. Ewan McGregor watches The Mandalorian to prep for Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Now, I wanted to point out a few things in this video that I found interesting. You can see here, February 1st, 2020. Let's take a look.
I want to talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi. You are doing a series, right?
Yes, we're going to do another one. We've been talking about it for a long time. It's going to be a movie, and then decided that it would be a good idea to do it as a series. And we'll start shooting it next year.
So he mentions that it was first a movie, then they decided to make it a TV show. We all know this. While Disney and Ewan have never expressed an airing date of this show, and of course Disney won't because they don't have any clue when they're going to put this show out, Ewan says we're going to start filming next year. They keep pushing this show back and back and back, as I've mentioned in other videos. If the show was good and the scripts were done, why do you keep pushing back the show? Now, of course, they say because they want to rework the scripts, but that goes back to the question again. If the scripts were so good, why are you going to redo them? Main point is that he said they're going to start filming next year. Today is February 1st of 2020. So that means that a show that was talked about for 4 years was supposed to begin filming in 2019 is now going to start filming, not air, start filming in 2021. So let's think about this. The Mandalorian Season 2 comes out fall of 2020. Let's just say that it's well received like Season 1, so then they make a Season 3. Then we can presume that it will come out fall of 2021, Season 3 of The Mandalorian. Personally, I wouldn't put Obi-Wan out at the same time as Mandalorian because they're going to compete. Plus, Disney wants, of course, drag out subscriptions throughout the year. So the smart thing would be is to release the Obi-Wan series, if it ever happens, in the summertime, offset from The Mandalorian. So using a little bit of logic, a show that constantly is getting pushed back and now is going to start filming a year from now. Now that could be any time during 2021. But let's just say that Ewan knows and can't say that in the beginning of 2021 is when they're going to begin. So for them to film, edit, produce, get everything together from beginning of 2021 to put it out in the summer of 2021 is unlikely. That's not much time, unless of course they rush the project. So then that now puts it into later in the year, potentially into fall, which would compete with The Mandalorian. Even if they start to film it in 2021, and that's even assuming they start early in February, what if they don't start filming till summer? Then they're not going to double up in fall. So now you're looking at a show that's going to come out, if it comes out, in 2022. Let's keep looking.
Any prepping?
I've been watching, I watched Mandalorian, and I'm just trying to keep abreast of all the new Star Wars films that come out.
He's not reading and memorizing scripts, obviously, because they're not done. They're redoing all the scripts. He's not physically training. He's in pretty good shape, but he probably needs to get in training for playing Obi-Wan. He's not doing lightsaber practice. He's not growing his beard. He's just watching The Mandalorian. If you know the show is coming, and granted you have a year, you should be prepping somehow, some way for this show. And he's sitting here saying that he's not prepping. What he's doing is watching The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian has nothing to do with Obi-Wan, unless of course they're going to intertwine them, which is going to be a huge mistake. They should be two different entities, two different shows that don't crisscross. So by watching The Mandalorian, he's now perceiving the Obi-Wan Kenobi show being like The Mandalorian. However, as far as we know, Favreau and Filoni aren't involved with the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. The only one we know that's directly connected is Kathleen Nightmare Kennedy and Deborah Chow. You're not really prepping yourself for anything if you're watching The Mandalorian, because that's a totally different show. And are they going to film it in the same technology with the 360-degree video screens, or are they going to actually go on set to a desert? It worries me if you're not doing any kind of prep, yet you're claiming the show is coming, and that you're basing off of The Mandalorian and the new films that you're keeping quote-unquote abreast on. I would think that you would be terrified right now, because if you've seen the new films, they've been nothing but a trash fire. So how could you possibly be comfortable or excited about Obi-Wan when you've seen all the retcons that Lucasfilm is doing to Star Wars? Wait until these new scripts come out. I mentioned it in my recent video, Obi-Wan Kenobi series canceled. When he sees these new scripts and he sees all the retcons that they make, not only to Obi-Wan himself, but to Star Wars, I'm willing to bet that Ewan McGregor is going to say, no way, this is crazy. This is not what I signed up for. We'll see what happens, but I think it's interesting that his quote-unquote prep is watching The Mandalorian, which is a totally different show, totally different directors and producers, and probably totally different technology technology and film style.
It's been a long time. I can't remember when the last one I did. 2003, I think, was the last one I did.
It concerns me when Ewan McGregor, that played Obi-Wan Kenobi in 3 Star Wars movies, doesn't remember the last time he did Obi-Wan Kenobi. I know he's done a lot of film sense. I know that it's been many years, but a true Star Wars fan knows the last one he did was 2005, Revenge of the Sith. Come on, Ewan. So again, this puts up red flags for me when he's clueless about when he did Star Wars last time. He doesn't know what the new scripts are even gonna be. He doesn't know when it's gonna air. And furthermore, he claims that the show is gonna come out on time from when they originally planned to air it. We don't know when that was. They won't make that information public. But if you keep pushing back a show, how can you possibly say it's going to air at the same time? If the scripts are being completely rewritten, how can you possibly claim that the show is going to come out at the same time? For all you know, these scripts get rewritten and reworked and not approved for the next 6 months or even into 2021. So what do you expect, Ewan, that in a month's time, the scripts will finally be approved, you'll start filming, they'll do all the production and editing, and then the show's going to come out at the same time? We don't know when the air date is scheduled for. Maybe they have it intended already for 2022. But it's just not logical if you use your brain to say that things are getting reworked, that the show is put on hold, I say canceled, the crew is all sent home, everything's up in the air, and that it's going to come out at the same time. That's not even physically possible. Unless, of course, you do a sloppy rush job. Now, I want you to pay attention to Ewan's reaction here.
And this series has Baby Kenobi.
Oh.
No, I made that up. I made that up. Sorry.
Did you notice Ewan's reaction to that statement? If you know the story and you know what's going on with the show, you wouldn't react that way. Remember that this is an instantaneous thing. Your mind is processing in a split second. So his mind for a moment got confused and thought, wait a minute, does Jimmy Fallon have an inside tip on what's going on with the show? There's a baby Obi-Wan? And you can see Ewan's reaction that he's kind of unsure, like, wait a minute, I'll play it for you again so you can see his reaction. But if you know what's going on with the show, if you know the scripts and the plan of what's supposed to happen in this show, that statement wouldn't faze you. You would just be like, that's ridiculous, or that's funny, or, oh yeah, of course, yeah, we're gonna have a baby Obi-Wan and a baby Luke. He would have reacted and played that off in a totally different manner. But when you're caught off guard like that, it's showing me that he's clueless as to what's even happening with this show. Let's take a second look in slow motion at his reaction.
And this series has Baby Kenobi.
Oh.
No, I made that up. I made that up. Sorry.
So you could see for a moment there, Ewan's like processing, like, really? Is there something they didn't tell me? And then he reacts like, oh, you're joking. Now let's watch it one more time in normal speed.
And this series has Baby Kenobi.
Oh.
No, I made that up. I made that up. Sorry. And this series has Baby Kenobi.
Look at his face. Look at his reaction. He's processing and thinking about it. And then you see Jimmy Fallon, he's got kind of a straight face for a moment. So Ewan's literally thinking about this and processing it for a second. Oh, you're kidding. Oh, I thought you were being for real. If you know what's going on with your own show, that wouldn't faze you in that sense. You would have just been like, oh, come on, you're being silly. Or you would have played along with the joke, or you would have had many other reactions than to pause, have a blank stare on your face, and then as soon as Jimmy starts to smile like, oh, I'm just kidding around, he's like, oh, body language and people's reactions speak volumes. It's clear to me that Ewan has no clue what this show is going to be. I'm not saying that he didn't read the previous scripts. I'm not saying that he lied about that. But what I am saying is that he has no clue what Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy are about to do to these scripts. And they could do anything at this point. Everything's up in the air with Star Wars. They can do pretty much everything because they don't care. They retcon everything and they create all kinds of nonsense. The Force is now some ridiculous Marvel superpower. I just wanted to point out that if you look at Ewan's reaction, he clearly does not know what's coming with the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. And I promise you guys, when he sees these new scripts and it's all about feminism and Obi-Wan has a secret hermit boyfriend at the cantina and it's just all this nonsense, he probably doesn't even have a lightsaber fight. It's just going to be a crazy story retconning Star Wars and Obi-Wan's character, and I'm putting my money on Ewan is going to be like, no way, this is not what I signed up for. We will see what happens if the show even happens. I still will maintain my position that it is canceled until further notice. We will see what they do, but we know this. We're not going to be hearing anything but rumors for the next year because we're in the beginning of 2020, and he has said it more than once, said it again this morning in this video, that they will begin shooting next year. They were planning on beginning shooting this year, probably in the next couple months.
We have all the scripts written. We are ready to start shooting next year. We could not be more excited. So can't wait to start production.
But now that they're going to redo all the scripts, they've pushed it back an entire year to rework the entire thing. They fired crew, they're rewriting the script, so now they need to find a writer, they need to find a new crew, a new location, think about how they're going to make it. Are they going to do it like The Mandalorian or in a traditional sense? And that's why they've pushed it back so far, because they're completely restructuring the whole thing. Who knows, it might even become a movie is the latest rumor. My point is that when the lead actor of a show, like I covered recently with Cassian Andor, has no clue of what's going on in their own show, that's a huge problem. Actors often play things off. They can't talk about their show or movie. I get that. We all get that. But there's a difference between you saying, I can't talk about it, or you being a little bit funny or whimsical about it. And there's another thing when you're just like, I don't know because I haven't started yet. I don't know because they're redoing the entire scripts. And you're not going to react to something like, there's a baby Obi-Wan, and you just have this stunned look on your face like, wait a minute, is that real? And then a second later, you realize it's a joke.
And this series has baby Kenobi.
Oh.
No, I made that up.
You saw his reaction afterwards, after he says, oh, and then the camera angle changes. He's like processing like, oh, that was just a joke. It's not me wanting to make things up. Look at Ewan's reaction. That says volumes. His face, his reaction says it all, that he doesn't know what the hell is going on with that show. We probably won't have any official news till next year when they start to actually truly talk about what's going on with the show. But of course, there's going to be all kinds of rumors and leaks throughout 2020, and I will continue to cover them. We'll see what happens with this big Obi-Wan Kenobi mess, but it's just really sad that Disney and Lucasfilm are so disorganized. They don't even have a plan. They show us time and again, they never have a plan. They're just winging everything they're doing. And it's really sad that they're treating the most important film franchise in the history of movies with no regard, no plans, just up in the air, wing it all, make it up as we go along. Everything, the comic books, the movies, the shows, everything, it's just all over the place. And it's really sad that they have so much potential to make beautiful stories and make tons of money, and they can't get their things straight. No Baby Yoda toys, comic books retconning things, their own stories retconning their own stories. It's just a mess. So what do you guys think? Isn't it obvious that Ewan was taken totally by surprise? Doesn't that show you that he doesn't know what he's getting into? He should be shaking in his boots right now with everything that they've done to Star Wars, and I can't wait to see how he reacts to the new scripts. I'll of course cover it when more news comes along. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the video. May the Force be with you.